Good afternoon, this is Mark at the Wicked Edge Expert Corner channel on YouTube. Because if you're watching this video, then it's at the YouTube channel. And you can follow us on Facebook. What I have going on here is cluster F. I'm trying to answer a question, I'm trying to demonstrate, I'm trying to do a new user sharpening video series and tie them all together. And it's hard to because we're at different levels in the conversation and in the context of the conversation. So let me try to tie them together. It started with a sharpening demonstration, sharpening a knife at 18 degrees with edge leading strokes, wanting to compare it with sharpening a similar knife at 18 degrees with edge trailing strokes. Well, if I'm going to be sharpening a knife, then I felt I need to talk about the basics of sharpening with Wicked Edge, which happens to be the basics of sharpening with any guided sharpening system, the way we clamp them. Any fixed position, you're clamping the knife in a fixed position, guided sharpening system where the stones are guided across the edge, set angle, fixed position, guided sharpening system has the same challenges of getting the stones to contact the knife edge without hitting the clamp, whether it's laying down or standing up. The device I choose to use is Wicked Edge with the vertical clamp knife, so I can sharpen both sides of the knife with two separate stones, two separate sharpening jigs simultaneously. That's the only difference between Wicked Edge and Work Sharp and Edge Pro and Genda Jig and TS Prop and all those is they're just one-sided and they spend all their time on one side. Wicked Edge does it duality so that you're able to sharpen both sides of the knife without working one side and flip-flopping it. Whether that's better or worse, that's another conversation for another day. I think it's a personal preference. This is what I prefer to work with. Going forward with that, with all of these fixed position guided systems, we need to clamp the knife optimally so that our stones can contact the knife edge effectively. At the start, we want to start where our stones can contact the knife edge effectively. Otherwise, we're working half on the knife and half off. So we pick a clamping position, whether it be up, down, forward, back, tip up, and handle down, handle up, tip down, such that it balances to give you the best contact. That balanced position you can find by putting a marker on there with a very fine stone so as not to impart any real scratches on the knife edge. You're just trying to remove the marker, and where it's obliterated is where the stone contacts it. And look over here, where it's obliterated is where the stone contacts it. And sometimes the stone contacts this down below and this one up top. And it's like a seesaw. It's very clear that if you move this down and move that, then it contacts it in the middle, right what you're looking to do. So it's an observed thing. You move it around, you repaint it, you trial and error. Well, by doing that trial and error, on a knife like this, it can become frustrating to find the optimal position. Here's another one. Here's a folding chef's knife. and it has some belly to it. Not a lot, but some. I'm just trying to pull out some knives that, here's one that's more to a stream that I started with, but I'm just trying to show you what I have laying here. Not to get something that's really out of the box, but to show you how it's easy to make a general rule, which is how the clamping rule came about, which is a generalized way of finding the sweet spot. In most instances, it works very well. Finding the sweet spot using the generalized way, which is we connect with a visualized line or a drawn-on line from the heel of the knife to the tip. I'm trying to look at the camera to see if... So that belly is above that line. And I try to clamp the knife such that that line of the paper is parallel to the jawline. And that pretty much takes into consideration, because of that rule, how high or low the handle gets. And then I just have to find the forward and the backwards point position to clamp it that's balanced for that knife. And that, for most instances, because of the rotation of the guide rods, how we're working from the center, this gentle rule finds the sweet spot for you. Now, a knife like this, you may, because it's more flat here than belly here, then the belly, the tip, becomes the predominant ruler. You want to put the belly closer to the backside of the jaw, because that puts the belly right here where you have the most control with your stones. So these are learned things. We started with the sweet spot, and we learned by obliterating the marker that let us make this rule, because that's how the knife falls. It just, if you just train your eye, that you look at it, that it just seems that this is the gentle arc. I've learned the gentle arc to clamp the knife centered over the wicked edge vise, or any guided system that rotates centrally. It's the same thing, because we all have the same clamping and sharpening challenges. Okay, so that's where the two came together. I could clamp up the knife, use the marker, obliterate the marker, get it so that it's balanced, and start, or draw the line. I find the central, draw a center line, and then draw my line. I do it visually now, I don't have to draw it, and clamp it up, and that's where I start. That is the sweet spot clamping position. That is the decided clamping position that I'm going to attack this knife with. And then I'm going to start from there. Thanks.